Hi, this is Bruce Linton, and this is episode one of Parenting in a Pandemic. So I hope this is going to be useful. Get my coffee to get started. My notes here. Um, I am the founder of a program called the Father's Forum. But because this is such unique and unprecedented times we're in, I thought I would try to reach out with this video cast of parenting in a pandemic and see if it makes any sense. It'll be orientated towards fathers, but it'll be really for families, couples, parents, particularly, and see if it makes any sense to you. And let me start out by saying a couple things. I am a white 70-year-old heterosexual man who is the father of two children, and I have two grandchildren. And for many years, over 30 years, since I was in my mid 30s, I've done a program called the Father's Forum, which you can find online at fathersforum.com, where I've done dads groups for many, many years in my office and now virtual dads group on Sunday evenings. And I've also been a marriage and family therapist, where I've worked with a wide variety of families in over the years. So I thought I would try to reach out and say, here we are in this pandemic. It's having such a huge effect on families. And I see that every week in my private practice with the couples and the dads that I'm seeing, how difficult it is. So let's see if we can make some sense out of this and share a little bit of a journey together. Each of these broadcasts, I'll try to do two or three points that are important and maybe one tool or something that'll carry us on. Uh, this is Monday, the August the 2nd, and I hope to do these once a week on Sundays. Would appreciate your comments and questions to help move this forward. And if it gets some traction, I'll keep going. And if not, I hope a few episodes will be helpful to a few people. So, to begin with, what's the most important thing that I can think of right now for us to start with? Is we're in a period of time where tolerance for uncertainty is the number one parenting tool. Now, I usually say the number one parenting tool is patience, and that's something we'll come back to. But I think to start with, we all know the world is uncertain, and we've often talked about this, but you know, we really know it now, and we don't know how things are changing. So, how does that affect us? So, first, we have to be aware of that. And kind of sidebar, the uncertainty in our lives varies over our socioeconomic class, our ethnic background, our family histories. So, very hard to say what I'm going to say is going to match up or not match up with you, but I am going to try, feeling like there's something about being parents that's essential that brings us all together. And that's always been kind of my vision, or what has held me in terms of keeping going forward with this work. Is we're all in this together, because if we all connect around being parents, it seems like there's ways we reach out and connect with each other. So we're starting with tolerance for uncertainty. How does that affect our lives? You'll all have to reflect on that. Some of you have been living with uncertainty um, in many different ways for much longer periods of time. And maybe we at some point can talk specifically about what some of those are. Um, and particularly, I'm thinking in that way about injustice, the uncertainty of the injustice many people live with, and also issues around gender and the uncertainty of how we can be in the world and be who we are, and the uncertainty with that. So, all of those get amplified now. The next thing that I want to say about parenting in a pandemic is we all feel a little like you can't get anything done or you can't really get traction to move in some ways. And that seems to be pretty common that we're all trying to make a lot of adjustments, but we really don't understand all of what we're having to adjust to. Um, so, here with those things, I would say, what do you do? So, I want to try to give something practical each time. And I would say, if there's any way you could introduce the idea into your own psyche, your own way of being, that it's possible to surrender and not know. So that the frustration, irritation, and often the criticism that comes out to our partners, our friends, our children is coming out of this very, very difficult time of not feeling like we can get anything done. So maybe we're trying to press forward in a way to have things be more organized, but the world won't allow it. Okay, so I'm going to keep this short as a start to these two things are your takeaways for today. The mantra is tolerance for uncertainty. Can we live with that? Um, and in being aware of that, does that bring us any kind of inner calm? Like, okay, yes, the world is uncertain. Everybody's feeling it. That's what I hear every week in my sessions. So I've got um, good news and bad news. The good news, I'll give you the bad news, is it feels terrible that everything feels so uncertain. The good news is we're all going through it. Everybody has to go through it in their own way, but everybody's going through it. So I encourage you, share this information, the tolerance for uncertainty, and the morass of feeling like it's hard to get things done and the frustration that comes out of that. If you could share these with your spouse, your partner, or some friends as a way of recognizing, hey, this is what's happening to us now. And then if you want to send in some questions or when I check back in, which will be on this next Sunday, we'll begin to build some tools and kind of get different dimensions of what it's like to be parenting in this pandemic. So, some thoughts about questions. We could talk about virtual learning for your kids. What's the new family balance? How do you balance your work and family? What is your work now? Do you have work now? How profoundly has that changed? Um, Specific or general questions about that. And how can we use this terrible situation that we're all in and make something meaningful out of it or just simply survive? All right. Well, thanks for listening. I hope you'll find this helpful. And if there are any dads out there listening and you'd like to be in a virtual fathers group, uh, go to fathersforum.com and there's information there, and feel free to contact me via Fathers Forum. All right. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Be well.